Oh, looks like you want to be on TV now. You close the door.
I'm going to close it.
All right. We're just getting started here. I got to pull up the systems or the platforms, I should say, that we're using. We will start in about 2 minutes or less. Just getting everything prepared here. Whew. There we go. Shabbat Shalom. Good morning. Good evening to those on the other side of the earth. And, that are 12 hours different from us. Good evening to you. Good morning to those on this side of the earth on the east coast of the USA, where we are, where I am. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3, family. Can you hear me? Good. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Let me get everything up and over here. Check my live stream. Yes, it's going good. Okay. Good. Yes. I'm sorry about last night. I was in a motorcycle accident yesterday. Yes, I do have a motorcycle, or should I say I had a motorcycle, and I don't have it anymore because it was totaled, and I was able to walk away. And by all accounts, it was a miracle. I have the pictures of the motorcycle. It's in pieces all over the road. And yes, but Most High did protect me, kept me safe from harm and danger. I hit somebody. It was my fault. I lost control of the bike on a curve, and I hit a car. Yeah, oncoming traffic. I was the bike went into oncoming traffic from the right side of the road to the left side of the road, and that's bad news generally. But fortunately for me, I hit the car. The car was slowing down as I hit it. It was going down. I was going downhill. The car was coming uphill, and yeah, I hit the right front driver's side. Yeah, I'm gonna get another bike. I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna get another bike. Yeah, I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna get another one. But yeah, I didn't publicize that because I didn't want anybody to start tripping on my bike. But yeah, I had a motorcycle, and I went for a ride yesterday, and yeah, lost control of the bike. It was my fault. Like I said, I did some stupid. I was stupid. What I did, just to let you I was, when motorcyclists are riding, they wave to each other. There's like when it's like a motorcycle is like a family, and so when you see somebody else on a bike, you usually wave or you blow your horn. So there were two motorcyclists coming up the opposite side of me, the opposite way, and they waved. And then I made a mistake right there. That's why I made my mistake. I was in a curve, and then I turned, looked at them, and waved. I should not have done that. I took my left hand off of this the handlebar. That was not a good move. And then at that point, I lost control of the bike. That was problem number 1 and 2. First, taking your hand off the handlebars, looking away from the road, and then being in a curve. That was problems 1 and 2. And then Another thing, if anybody rides a motorcycle, you would notice, and I noticed, but I messed up, is the motorcycle will go wherever you're looking. A motor, I should have just beat my horn, but the motorcycle will go wherever your eyes are. That's one of the secrets of safe riding. There's many, but the motorcycle will go exactly where your eyes are looking. So what happened, I lost control, and then I got my hand back on the handlebars, and I was headed toward the car. What I should have did was look hard to the right where the road was turning right, because the road was going to a sharp right. If I'd have looked hard to the right and leaned the bike, I would have avoided him. But I was trying to lean the bike while looking at him because I was scared and I was going to hit him, which I did. And so, yeah, that's what happened. I flew off the bike, uh, went head first. I had all my gear on. There's gear you're supposed to ride when you ride a motorcycle, and I had all my gear on, my helmet. I had pads on my elbows, my shoulders, my knees, my hips. I got a whole suit that I wear. I had the right shoes on because every piece of my body got hit by something. But today I wake up and I got the the what you call that, the windshield of the motorcycle. When I flew off the bike, my lower body hit the windshield, and so I got a bruise in my groin area, and then I got a bruise on my right knee, and I flew through the air. But my helmet did not hit the ground. The police officers were kind of amazed. If you see a picture of the bike, it's totally. When they came, they said, "You're okay," and I said, "They said you are very lucky." They said, "You're very lucky. You're very fortunate." They said, "Because you should have been killed because I flew through the air." I think the bike must have been going about 30 miles an hour, which is plenty fast enough to get you killed. And then I landed on my back. I flipped. I think I flipped. Well, I definitely flew off the front of the bike, and then I think because what happened, I can't remember if I landed on my back or not because I instinct took over. And about maybe 30 years ago, I think I mentioned to you I was heavily into the martial arts, and one of the things we used to practice was rolling. We used to practice rolling, like diving over something and rolling. And I think I must have did that without thinking about it because I was on my back, even though I went head first over the bike, but I was on my back. And then the people got out the cars, everybody stopped their cars, everybody was getting out. People were very nice. And they said, just stay there, don't get up. But I was so mad at myself. I was banging the ground with my hands and feet because I couldn't believe how stupid I was. I knew better. I've been trained to ride, I was so mad at myself. And I was concerned with the man whose car I hit because he got out his car first and he was shaking like a leaf. I mean, I was really scared that he was going to have a heart attack. I jumped up on my feet and they said, please sit down. I said, no, I'm not going to sit down. I'm okay. So, but I was hurt. I was sore. My knee was hurting. My groin was hurting. But I mean, I was okay. And then the medics checked me out. They checked and they kept looking at my helmet because they didn't have any. I had one little nick on my helmet because my helmet barely touched the ground. Like it didn't. My head didn't slam in the ground. So they was like, "You're okay? What happened? How did your helmet not get? I don't know." But the Most High was protecting me. Yeah. So anyway. That's why I couldn't make it yesterday because I was sore. I'm still a little sore this morning, but you know what? Sore is better than dead, I guess, right? So, and not only that, I want to tell you, if I didn't have on all of this stuff that I have on, like when I ride my bike, I never ride without my helmet. I got a special jacket I wear that has padding in the back, in the shoulders, in the elbows. I got padding on my knees. I got a special pair of pants I wear. I got padding on my knees, on my hips and then you got to wear a hard pair of shoes. Do not wear sneakers or sandals when you're riding on a motorcycle. That is stupid. And I see too many people doing that. But you got to have these hard boots. I got 2 different pairs of hard boots that I wear, which I had one pair on obviously yesterday. But my ankles got hit by the bike, my knee, everything. But I'm fortunate, man, because like I said, I just got a sore knee this morning, and I got a sore hip a little bit, and the groin was sore a little bit, but all of that I'm gonna recover from. Praise the Most High. They checked me out and they asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital. I said no. They had me sign. They took my blood pressure and they said you're very healthy and all of that. And I was like, yeah, I know. They said you're very lucky. People kept telling me you're very lucky because they saw the bike. The bike was destroyed. It was destroyed. It was all messed up. It was a total loss. So yeah. But yes, I'm going to get another motorcycle. Just pray for your brother. I'm not gonna be I'm not going to be scared of the motorcycle. I just did something very stupid, and I acknowledge it was my fault. I did something stupid. It wasn't the other guy's fault. It wasn't the bike's fault. It was me. And that's generally what happens on a motorcycle. It's generally the rider. It's not the bike. It's the rider. You got to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention, and you definitely, when you're going in the corner, you got to look to where you want the bike to go. And I got panicked, and I'm looking at the car I'm running into on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, yeah. It was on a very tight S curve. It was an S curve, very tight S curve. So it rolled hard to the left, and then it rolled hard to the right. Yeah, she's good. She's good. I was afraid to call her. The medic said, "Do you want to call your wife?" I said, "I'm going to call her. I need a few minutes," because I knew she was going to trip. And I kept saying she's going to trip. And the nurse said, "What do you mean?" I said, "She's going to trip. She's going to trip." So she was scared. She was going to later, but she was just too shocked because I called her and I told her, and she said to me later, she said she was glad that I called her. She said if a police officer had called her, she would have been very scared. But I called her, so she knew I was okay. And matter of fact, they had the road blocked off on both sides, and she called me and said they won't let her through. So then I told the police officer, my wife's trying to get through. So then the police officer that was blocking that side of the traffic, it was because it was like on a hill, so I couldn't really see. I couldn't see. I knew there was a line of cars coming from both sides, but I couldn't see. So the police officer told my wife, the ambulance just went by, and your husband is not in the ambulance, so he must be okay. So that helped her out a little bit because the ambulance, they took off after I was okay. They took off. She said, yeah, she said if he was in the ambulance, you'd have something to worry about, but he's not. So he must be up there okay somewhere. So I just, yeah. So anyway, sorry about yesterday. That's why I didn't make it yesterday. Um, and I want to thank you all for your prayers, not just for yesterday in terms, but we always pray for each other. And it's for situations like this that we always pray for each other, right? It's not, we don't pray for each other for anything that comes up. We pray for each other before that, so that we already, the Most High is already looking out for us. Psalm 91, the angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that, he said, no, that's Psalm 34. Angel of Yah encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. And then Psalm 91 says, he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways, and they shall bear thee up, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone. Well, that was definitely me yesterday. That was definitely me yesterday. So, yeah, I just needed to explain that to you, and again, apologize for missing our study yesterday. Yeah, I was up most of the night. I was a combination of hurt and angry most of the night because it was just stupid. It was dumb. It shouldn't have happened because I should have been more cautious coming through that curve. I knew that curve. It wasn't the first time I rode through that curve. I knew that curve. But what happens is you start getting real confident when you're really, used to riding a motorcycle. You start getting real confident, and that's when you get in trouble. That's when you get in trouble, man. I took my eyes off the street, and that was it. That was it, man. That was it. Anyway. Yeah, I was up. Oh, thank you, Bartholomew. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. But no, but yeah, I was just so, and I woke up at like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and I just I had to keep praying in my heart. I can't bend my knees to pray because my knee is hurt. It's a little swollen. It could have been a lot worse, man. Believe me, it could have been a lot worse. The Most High really did protect me. He really did. I could have been hurt, very badly hurt, or killed. No question about that. So I just praise Yah. I give him the praise, the honor, and the glory. And that's my testimony for today. Praise the Most High. That's my testimony for today. So yeah, he took care of me. He definitely took care of me. So our business today is to study Isaiah chapter 25. And brothers and sisters, this is a interesting, as usual, powerful chapter. I'm so happy that we're studying Isaiah because Isaiah, as you have seen, right? I mean, some of y'all that's been listening to these studies and watching these studies, you notice that we keep going back to the book of Revelation. Right, like we go in the book of Revelation, and then and we go back to Isaiah, and we go to other prophets, and we go back to Isaiah, and we go into the law of Moses, we go into the books of the law, and we come back to Isaiah. Because you can see when you study the Bible properly, you will see that all of these things are connected. Right? It's not like what Christians do, and they say Old Testament, New Testament, old law, new covenant, old covenant. They try to do away with stuff or act like something is obsolete. But when you actually study the Bible properly, you will understand that from Genesis to Revelation, it's all connected, all connected. And when you understand by the grace of the Most High that it's connected, then it gives you deeper understanding of the word itself. The Spirit of the Father give you deeper understanding of the word itself. Does that make sense, brothers and sisters? And also, I want to speak a little bit of word about this here book. Some of y'all on YouTube will see it. You guys in Power Talk may not see it. This book is called The Apocrypha. Now, I mentioned the Apocrypha some time ago, and I told y'all at the time that I could not speak on the book because I had not read the book. And at this time, I'm probably, I would say, definitely a solid 75% through the book. I read through much of the book. I have a couple of more. I think I got to read Second Esdras. I think that's it. But I read most of the book. I didn't start at the beginning. I started in the middle of the book, read to the end. I still got a little bit more to read in Second Maccabees, and I'm gonna read Second Esdras, and that's pretty much it. But I read the book for the most part. I still got more to read, so I got more. I'll have more to say, and I want to say this. The book of Apocrypha is, I don't consider it an inspired book by the Father Spirit. I consider it a commentary on the other parts of what we know to be the Bible. Okay. Yeah, no, Sister Isha, because I gave the testimony, so that kind of took up that time. So I'm gonna go right into the scripture. Yeah, we're gonna pray in a minute. But we're gonna pray in a minute. Yes, definitely. But so anyway, and then the Apocrypha was not written in Hebrew. Y'all understand, like most of y'all know that, right? Like it was not written in Hebrew originally. It was written from Greek manuscripts. Okay. So it's influenced by that. For example, like in the King James Bible, we know that the New Testament was written in Greek, right? So that it's influenced by the Greek, so that they use the name, for example, Jesus Christ, which in the original, it says Jesus, which obviously is not the name of the Messiah, but it was influenced by the Greek culture. Y'all understand? Testing 1, 2, 3, you follow me? It was more influenced by the Greek culture. It's inspired, but it was influenced by the Greek culture. Okay. So the Apocrypha is like that as well. It's influenced by it because there's some definitely beautiful insights in it. There's no question. But I would not say trust in it as the scriptures, the rest of the scriptures. What I say to y'all at this point is prove the Apocrypha from the rest of the Bible. Like, in other words, you want to know if the Apocrypha is true, make sure it matches up with this book. You understand? When it matches up with the 66 of the King James, then it's good. I wouldn't trust it alone as something I'm leaning to understand the Bible. Okay, but it's definitely a good complement to the Bible, and as we know, it was also included originally with the Bible. It was included, but see, being that it's included, most people take that to mean it's inspired scripture. It was included as Apocrypha. It wasn't included as scripture. Like, in other words, they had Bible, and then they had this section called Apocrypha. Okay, that does not mean it was inspired. All right, it's okay. So I'm just saying to y'all, and we have to give the Most High his due. Listen, whatever we need to know what's coming, believe me, Father in heaven is in charge of the whole thing. He's not like, Father is not like making mistakes. Like, so in other words, like if we got the 66 books, listen, most of the people that I know that quote a lot of Apocrypha have not thoroughly studied the King James Bible. They have read a lot of it. Maybe they might have read it through once, but they have not thoroughly studied it the way they should before they reach into the Apocrypha and start to act like they know something. Okay? I've read through this book 16 or 17 times. I can't remember now. But I'm trying to tell you, this book here is what you need. This King James. Apocrypha is good. I'm not saying it's bad. And it's definitely, like I said, got good historical information. One of the things that bother me, though, a couple of things bother me. And those of you in YouTube land, listen to this here and tell me, I'm really open. Tell me what you want to tell me about it. Two things. There is one mention of the word Judaism in the Apocrypha. There's one mention of it. Did you hear what I said? So in other words, somebody talked about the protecting Judaism in the Maccabees. I think it was Second Maccabees. That's the only time I've seen the mention of the word Judaism in the Apocrypha. But that alone tells me something's off there, right? Because there's no mention of Judaism. Like Abraham didn't create any religion called Judaism. Abraham didn't even create any religion. And they definitely didn't name it anything. We're going to talk a lot about that today. So that's problem one. Problem number two, which is a lighter problem that I have with it, is let me ask y'all ever read Daniel and the Lion's Den? You ever read Daniel and the Lion's Den? Y'all ever read that? Okay, let me ask you a question. Here's a quiz question. First quiz question about Daniel and the Lion's Den. All right, ready? Here you go. How long does the Bible state that Daniel was in the Lion's Den? How long was Daniel in the Lion's Den? How long was he in there? As the Bible says he was in there overnight. As a matter of fact, it says, and I'm looking for it now, the Bible says, chapter 6, that the king, Darius, was praying and he was up all night because he was worried about Daniel. And early the next morning, he came. That's what it says, right? Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that what it said? So he said he was there. Now, so the Apocrypha says he was there 7 days. The Apocrypha says they threw him in the lion's den and he was there for 7 days. That's what the Apocrypha says. Now, either he was in there more than once or somebody's wrong, right? But that doesn't match. He either in there one night or he's in there 7 nights, but the Apocrypha says he was in there 7 nights. That bothered me a little bit. See, I'm sensitive to these things because I'm not gonna lie, I'm very protective of the King James Bible. I'm very protective. I've sold out to it. I'm completely given over to it. Some people may not understand that. Fine. But I'm totally, so when I see something like that, I'm like, oh, something's wrong here. So was it 7 days or 1 day? Well, I'm gonna believe the Bible when it say one night, right? So that's what he said. Okay. So in the Apocrypha, though, it said he was there for 7 nights, 7 days and 6 nights or something like that. But anyway, stuff like that. So like I said, it's good historical information, I believe. It really is. I believe that it's good commentary or an allegory to prophecy. It says some very powerful things in there. There's very powerful things that says in there, very inspiring things. But I will not say it's equal with the Bible. I will not say that. I will not at this point. I'm going to read the rest of it. I'm going to read the rest of it. But I would say anybody that's trusting the Apocrypha, it's all good. But make sure that you know this 66 books backwards and forwards. Make sure that before you start talking about how Apocrypha, make sure, because you know what happened? I was raised up in the SDA church. They trust in Ellen G. White's books equal with the Bible. So I'm very sensitive with any book that somebody want to bring to me talking about is with the Bible. And SDAs only study the parts of the Bible that Ellen White taught them to study. What do I mean by that? For any SDAs listening, they only study those parts of the Bible that she's quoting in her writings. An SDA can't tell you about Daniel 11. They can't tell you about Ezekiel 38 and 39. They can't tell you about Jeremiah chapter 51 or Jeremiah chapter 30, except that one verse where it talks about the time of Jacob's trouble. They study that one verse. That's a Christian thing. Okay, that's it. They don't study the rest of Jeremiah 30 to see the context in which that verse was given or what it means. Where it says, I'm going to raise up David and put him on the throne. I'm going to restructure Israel. They don't see that. Okay, so I'm very sensitive. and in my lifetime, I got the 66 books and I'm studying that. Okay, now I'm going to finish reading this Apocrypha and I'm going to keep it. I'm going to read it. I'm like I said, I'm about 75% through it, but it's not the Bible. I can tell you that it's not the Bible. It's not the Bible. Okay, it's not. All right. That brings me into what we're talking about today. First, let's have a word of prayer. And my apologies, I can't kneel down, but my apologies for that. Let's have a word of prayer. Most High Yah, I just want to give you the praise, the honor, and glory for protecting me and keeping me safe from harm and danger as you did, in spite of my stupidity and foolishness. All honor, glory, and righteousness come from you. Any mistakes are mine. I give you the praise. We give you the praise. As we go into your word today, we pray that your spirit would guide us and direct our paths, that we would be able to uncover the truths of your word by your spirit and be obedient to your word by your spirit. And in so doing, give you praise and honor and glory. In the name of Messiah, Yahweh Shah, we pray. Oh my. Okay. All right. Isha, you ready? Are you ready at the controls for the scriptures? We're not reading the three scriptures. I'm just saying in general because we got some scriptures to go through. All right. All right. Let's go to first. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. Well, actually, while I'm here, well, let me go to what I came for first. And then while we're in the neighborhood, I wanted to show you something else. But Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20. And I'm going to start. This is obviously the beginning of this chapter is the giving of the covenant itself. This is the covenant. And let's look at this. Exodus chapter 20 I'm going to read from verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 3. Okay, from verse 1 to 3, Exodus chapter 20. Okay. And the Most High spake all these words, saying, I forgot to put my teeth in, but whatever. I am Yahweh thy Most High, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay? That's the first commandment. This commandment was given to a specific people. How do I know that? How do you know that? What does it say? I am Yahweh thy Most High, the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Number one, not all people on the planet Earth were in the land of Egypt in slavery, right? Not everybody was in the land of Egypt in slavery. Okay, so in other words, this covenant is given specifically with one group of people. All right, okay, one group of people. I am Lord thy God, Yahweh thy Most High, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And the first commandment. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm not diminishing any of the commandments. All the commandments are important. In fact, they're one. It's one covenant. But I think we should take note of the fact that the first thing he said to his people, don't have any other gods. I think we should take note of that. Okay? Y'all following me? All right. So the first thing he says is don't have any other gods. So if you forget everything else, you should never forget you shouldn't have any other gods. Also, he made this covenant with Israel. So the question that we have today, before we get into Isaiah 25, do all peoples of the earth serve the same God? Do all the peoples of the earth serve? Because, brothers and sisters, we are living in an age of ecumenicalism. What does that mean, ecumenicalism? What does that mean? Now, I know it sounds like a fancy word, ecumenicalism. Let me explain what that is. It created, of course, by the Catholic Church. Ecumenicalism is created by the Catholic Church. What does that mean? Well, that's right. It means everybody's together, right? And the word Catholic means universal. That Catholic, what it means in its original Latin is universal. The universal church. That's what it means. And ecumenical means, because what happened? When the Protestants, when the Catholics broke away from their church and protested against it, and they called it Protestantism because they were protesting against their church. That's what they were doing. They were protesting. They weren't actually, nobody of the Protestants were calling people out of the Catholic Church. They were protesting and they were demanding changes be made in the Catholic Church. It was never Martin Luther's intention. It was never William Tyndale's intention. Two Catholic priests. It was never their intention to leave their church. Their intention was to get their church to grow in truth. That's what they wanted. Okay, that's what they wanted, which obviously would hinder them from actually growing in the truth themselves, which is obviously according to what the Bible says. Why? Because as we're going to bring out today, he only gave this word to one people. The teaching of this word is supposed to come from his chosen people. As a matter of fact, that's what I said while we're in the neighborhood. Exodus chapter 19. Exodus chapter 19. We're going to read from verse 3. We're going to read from verse 3 and go from verse 3 down to verse 6. Exodus chapter 19, verse 3 to 6. Notice what it says, Exodus 19, 3 to 6. Again, we have the understanding he's talking to the Israelite people, people who are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by blood. By blood. That's who he's talking to here. Okay? Moses went up unto the Most High, and Yah called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. He's talking to a specific people. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, or the Mizraim, the children of Ham, and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me what? A kingdom of priests and a set apart nation, or a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. By these words, we understand that the Most High called into existence this nation of Israel as his chosen people. And we have Deuteronomy, we have Amos, we have other witnesses that bear witness that he has chosen just this people above all people of the earth. And we know, based on what we just read, that his intention that they should be a nation of priests. Priests are called to do what? Teach the people about Yah. Teach the people what he expects. Moses was a Levite priest. So was Aaron. That was the intent of the Father. So they were supposed to teach the people about Yah. Not only that, they were he called what? A set apart nation. That means they would be different from all the nations of the earth. Why? Because he is their God. He's not the God of all the nations. And that's why he said, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, we talked about this last week a little bit, right? Because, brothers and sisters, the Catholic Church, when the Protestants broke away, they were trying to, as I said, they were trying to destroy the Protestant movements. The Catholic Church started setting about plans to destroy the Protestant movement. It was during this time they had a meeting, a giant meeting among all the top Catholics in their institution, in their corporation. And they had this meeting. It was called the Council of Laodicea. It was called, and another word for it is Vatican I. And in this meeting, the plan was to create what they call a counter-reformation. That means that the Protestants had created what they call reformation. What is reform? That means reform. That means they wanted the Catholic Church to be reformed. They didn't want to destroy the Catholic Church. They wanted it to be reformed. Tyndale, Huss, Wycliffe, Luther, none of them wanted to start their own church. They all wanted to be part of the Catholic Church, but have the church reformed, which is why they call it the Reformation. So they had Catholic came together and said, we're going to have to stop this. We got to put the kibosh on this thing. So what they did, they had a meeting, Council Laodicea. They called it Vatican I. And it was in that meeting they made plans to destroy the Protestant movement and bring all them people back to the Catholic Church. It was a 500-year plan. Okay. And what happened during that council, they created a special order. See, Catholics have orders of priests. It's not like Yah, where you just have the Levites, and within the Levites, the three brothers that Levi have each of them Kohath and Merari. You know, they have the different brothers, and they're all Levites. No, Catholic Church have different special orders for different things. They got the order of the Franciscans. They got the order of the Dominicans. They got the order. They got different orders. Knights of Malta is a different special order. Knights of Columbus. These are all Catholic clubs, Catholic secret societies, Catholic orders that they have. They created this special order called the Jesuits. This order was created specifically to infiltrate the Protestant movement, the Reformation, and destroy it from within. That's what their plan was. And it was a several 100-year plan. This wasn't, they understood this wasn't going to happen overnight. So they started, what they did is they trained their Jesuits, and the Jesuits are trained to become Protestants. It doesn't matter what church, SDA church, Baptist church. There's a Jesuit priest. He's dead now. They killed him. His name was Alberto Rivera. Alberto Rivera. Go look up Alberto Rivera. He wrote a lot about this because he was a Jesuit priest, and he knows he used to train Jesuit priests to infiltrate all these different churches. So he would go to the Pentecostal church, and they claim to speak in tongues. So he had his Jesuit priest speak in tongues. He go to the SDA church, and they claim to keep the 7-day Sabbath. So he had his Jesuit priest keep the 7th-day Sabbath. As a matter of fact, since we're well into the ecumenicalism at this point, you must realize now that the Catholic Church has instituted a papal bull. This was a while ago, that said that Sabbath is Saturday. Matter of fact, the SDA Church had a man that wrote a book from Sabbath to Sunday. His name was Bacchiocchi. He was a Jesuit. His book was published in the Vatican. And they used to push this book as proof the Catholic Church doesn't keep Sabbath. They know it's Sunday. The Catholic Church now has masses on Saturday, and they tell their people you should go to mass on Saturday. They telling people that. So it ain't about a Sunday law, because they're already telling people that. And truth be told, the SDA Church, when they have their church, all they're doing is having Saturday mass. I'm telling you the truth. That's all they're doing. Any Protestant church or evangelical that's keeping Sabbath, all they're doing is having Saturday mass, because they're Christians. That whole religion came from Rome. That's why the Roman Catholic Church tells all of them, come back to mother. Mother's the one that birthed you. You think it's any coincidence they say that? When the Bible says in Revelation chapter 17 that she is the mother of all harlots and abominations of the earth. Mother. And they keep saying, come back to mother. That's where y'all come from us. That's why I used to wonder, when I didn't know what I'm telling you right now, I used to wonder, why did the Lord, I say the Lord, why did he permit them to come and take over all these churches? Because I used to see it. One of the reasons I left the SDA church was because I saw the Jesuit order completely taking it over, bringing Catholic doctrines, strong Catholic doctrines into the church. And I wonder why he allowed it. Now the Most High is giving me the answer. You know why he allowed it? Because they always belong to Catholic Church. You see, if you always belong to Asatan, he can claim you. He can claim you, and he's permitted to have you. When you cross over to go to Yah, now angels will protect you, because now you belong to the Creator, and Satan can't go past him. He says, thus far shalt thou go and no further. So they did that, and they were very successful in their infiltration of the Christian churches, the Protestant churches, the Reformation churches. So successful they were that, among other things, around 100 years ago, maybe around the turn of the 20th century, they caused the Christian church to stop calling themselves Protestants. They started calling themselves evangelicals. Let me ask you a question. Do you hear any of them call themselves Protestants anymore? Or don't they all say evangelical now? None of them call themselves Protestants anymore. They always say evangelical now. Okay? That's the Catholic thing. So then in 1962, they came together again for what they call Vatican II. Now, under Vatican I, infiltration wasn't the only thing they were doing. They were actually killing people. That's why you have what they call the Catholic Crusades. Whenever you hear a politician, especially a United States president, talk about a crusade, you can know that's a Catholic-led event. They came out with that. They called it crusades when they started burning people at the stake, torturing people. They called it a crusade. That's their way of causing you to become a Catholic. You know, the last major crusade there was? It was called Rwanda. Y'all remember Rwanda? That was the last Catholic crusade that I remember on a large basis. And guess what? If you go look it up for yourself right now, the number one religion in Rwanda right now is Catholic. Catholic. That's the object of their crusade, to make you become a Catholic. When you start to see Islamic people, they call them Islamic extremists. They're now in West Africa and Nigeria, and they're killing people. That's a form of crusade. That's the fingerprint. That's the fingerprint of the Catholic Church right there. That's how they do it. I'm not saying all Muslims act like that, but I think every Muslim does understand that there are sects within them that are very violent, and they try to convert people by violence, by rape, by killing. That's how they do it. So that a woman is scared to show her face in some places because she's afraid that she might get shown, be a public example. If a woman get raped, sometimes it's her fault. They blame her. And listen, my Muslim brothers know I'm telling the truth. See, you got to speak on the warts. You can't just speak on the nice smile. You got to speak on the warts. That's in Islam as well. Ain't no warts in Yah. I'm just trying to tell you, ain't no warts in Yah. Oh yeah, they got these fools out here claiming to be Hebrew Israelites with these camps and acting a fool and talking stupidness. But his word, ain't no warts in his word. Ain't none. His righteousness is perfect. He makes no mistakes. He said in his word, I'm a clean out the rebels from among you. That's in Ezekiel. I'm going to cast out the rebels from among you. That's what he said. So, brothers and sisters, that's happening. So, they had Vatican II. In Vatican II, they decided they were going to continue the crusades, but it was going to be more, it wasn't going to be as open as it had been before, because what happened before, under Napoleon, the French actually attacked Rome in 1798, and that kind of curtailed Rome's power a little bit, because Napoleon, believe it or not, Napoleon and his brother were led by Jesuits. Why did they attack Rome? Because the Jesuits order became the most powerful order in the Catholic Church. And what they started doing, they were created to infiltrate Protestant movements, right? But what they started doing is they started infiltrating governments. They started infiltrating families that were wealthy. They started getting people in debt. They started working with the Judaism people. They started working with the Ashkenazis, and they infiltrated. So that they became powerful, whereas they were created to give glory to the Catholic Church. They became powerful. Now, they were all good until the Catholic Church, the Pope got scared of what they were doing. They became so powerful, you never knew. If you had a boy that you worked with, you don't know if he was a Jesuit that was going to kill you or not. So the Catholic Church, the Pope created a paper bull where he said, we're going to outlaw and disband the Jesuit order. That's what he said. We're going to disband the Jesuit order. Look it up. This is all history. Jesuits say, oh, you think you're going to disband us? And that's when you start. Whenever you see a revolution take place, look, check it. It's a Jesuit movement. And so they created the French Revolution, and they attacked Rome, and that's why the Bible says it received remember with Revelation 13, it received a deadly wound. One of its heads received a deadly wound. It wasn't killed, it was a deadly wound. What does that mean? That means, politically speaking, at that moment, Napoleon's French country was in charge of politics and army, whereas Rome still had religion. They didn't have the political pull they had. The deadly wound was restored in 1929. That's why I said the deadly wound was healed and all the world wondered after the beast. The Jesuit order put in place Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin. Jesuit order control all that. And then, of course, them being faithful Jesuits, they came back, and that's when Mussolini signed the Concordat with the Pope, restoring his power as political power by giving it its own country within Italy. Made its own country. The Vatican is its own country. That's why his deadly wound was healed. Matter of fact, if you look up the San Francisco Chronicle from October 1929, it says deadly wound healed. Deadly wound healed. Because it was restored. See? So anyway, Now they wanted to create a second phase of it. 1962, they had a Vatican II meeting, and the meeting was actually over a 2-year period, like 62 to 63 or 64 or even 65. Right? They kept meeting and planning the second phase, what they call the final phase. Okay, what this final phase? It included ecumenicalism. In other words, they have been so successful in infiltrating all the Protestant churches, not just the Protestant churches. They decided to infiltrate Hinduism and Buddhism. And of course, they control Islam as well. And they started infiltrating all of these organized religions. Judaism, they deepen that. Okay, why do you think the Jewish leaders always go to the Vatican and kiss the Pope's ring? That's happened many times. Because they work together. And they created an organization. This is another subject, but they created an organization within Judaism called B'nai B'rith. That's a secret society that they also use, called B'nai B'rith, which is very, very interesting, because B'nai B'rith means sons of the covenant, but it's not Yah's covenant. You understand? It's B'nai B'rith is a secret society called, and it's sons of the covenant. Okay, they're covenant with Asatan. Anyway. In Vatican II, they decided, because they had infiltrated all of these organizations, religions, politics, countries, they decided we don't need everybody to call themselves Catholic anymore. See, before they demanded that you openly confess that you are now a Catholic, but now they said you can keep the Baptist name. You can keep the SDA name. You can keep Jehovah's Witness name. You can keep the Mormon name. You can keep all your names as long as you give honor to the Pope of Rome, as long as you acknowledge his supremacy. And they all do. And they all do. That was Vatican II. And they called that ecumenicalism. They called that ecumenicalism because everybody becomes one. So now on the earth, that brings us to what we're talking about today. So now on the earth, most of the people on planet Earth, and you all tell me now, testing 1, 2, 3. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Testing 1, 2, 3. I want y'all to tell me, do not most people believe that all of the peoples of the earth serve the same God? Don't they think that? Like, when you talk to somebody about any religion, it doesn't matter if it's Jehovah's Witness, it doesn't matter if it's Islam, Muslim, Nation of Islam, even Malcolm X, he said it. All of us serve the same God. He said that. All of us serve the same God. That's what he said. And that's what the majority of the planet Earth believes. Except for except for your atheists. But anybody that's not an atheist, if they're in any type of religious observance, they all think they serve the same God. Now that would contradict the first commandment. That would contradict the first commandment. Why? If Yah says to his people, thou shalt have no other gods before me. If he says that, that means that you have an option of worshiping something else beside from him. Now, we already know the Bible. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. Let's go to Revelation 13, because it's very plainly written there. Revelation chapter 13. Which we're going to obviously be spending a lot of time with Revelation 13, because this is where we live in terms of historical prophecy. This is where we're at right now. So Revelation chapter 13, notice what it says. We read this before. Revelation 13 from verse 3 and 4. Revelation 13, verse 3 and 4. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So listen, if the world is worshiping the dragon, can you say they're worshiping the dragon and Yah at the same time? Can that happen? Can you worship Yah and the dragon at the same time? No, you cannot. No, you cannot. And again, Revelation 13, verse 2. Revelation 13, verse 2. Right? Notice again, Revelation 13, 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And this last part is what we after. And the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So Satan gives an organization power, seat, and authority. This organization infiltrates all other organizations on planet Earth. So therefore, all planet Earth is worshiping or giving honor to the dragon, except the people of Revelation chapter 12, Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. Revelation chapter 12, verse 17. The people that come out of that woman that had the 12 stars on her head. This one say, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. That's the woman of Israel. And went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah and have the testimony of Messiah Yahushua. Now, how is that? Why? Because, brothers and sisters, the commandments of Yah were only given to the seed of that woman. It's not saying, see, brothers and sisters, we haven't been faithful in keeping it, but it was given to us. That's why the Bible says again, let's take a look. Romans chapter 2, Romans chapter 2, actually, Romans chapter 3, Romans chapter 3, going to read from verse 1 down to verse 3. Romans chapter 3 from verse 1 to 3. Notice what it says. What advantage then hath the Jew? Good question. That is the Israelite. What advantage has the Israelite? The seed of Jacob. That's what he's talking about. What profit is there in circumcision? What does he say? Much in every way. Why? Chiefly, in other words, the main reason, because that unto them, that is the seed of Jacob, were committed the oracles of Yah. For what if some of them did not believe? Should their unbelief make the faith of Yah without effect? Of course not. So unto us Israelites were committed Yah's oracles. That means his law, his covenant, the command. We're committed. He gave that to us. He doesn't change. He doesn't change. He's forever Alpha and Omega. So of course, us being the seed, of course, we are ordained to teach the earth. Remember, he said, I'll make you a nation of priests and ministers, a holy nation. We were carried away into slavery, Deuteronomy 28, Leviticus 26, Ezekiel chapter 36, 37, and 38, 39. You can go all through the Bible. We were given over to slavery, Isaiah chapter 1, except Yah had left unto us a very small remnant. We would have been like unto Sodom. We would have been like unto Gomorrah. But we have been called. Yah doesn't change. So we have been called from the beginning, before the foundation of the earth, as a nation, to have these oracles and teach them to the people. Also, let me show you something. I'm going to show you a few things in the scriptures, okay? Isha, I'm glad you're doing a good job, Isha. I just want to encourage you, my sister. Let me show you something here. Let me give you something here. Isaiah. Let's go into Isaiah now. Let's go into Isaiah. We're going to read this. And this is in many places of Isaiah, in many places of the prophets. And we sometimes would just read it like we did the first commandment, right? Now look, when you read the first commandment, do you understand that it means there's only one true God and there's false gods? Because he says, thou shalt have no other gods. Nobody equates that. You can, and that's why Seventh-day Adventists talk about, oh, there's a National Sunday Law coming. No, this is about you worshiping other gods. And you need to make sure what God you're worshiping. Who is he? Is it the false one or the true one? How do you know? First thing we've already shown, he only gave his commandments to Israel. Unto them were committed the oracles of Yah. Believe, if they believe or don't believe, if they get punished and scattered throughout the earth like he did, he said, they still my people. And after Isaiah, I'm going to show you something in Ezekiel about that. Watch this now. Isaiah chapter 30. Now, we're going to read this at some point, soon, but I just want to show you this here. Isaiah chapter 30. I'm going to read from verse 8. Down to verse 15. Now, this is the term I want you to really pay attention to. Listen now. This is the term I want you to pay attention to. Here's the term. The Holy One of Israel. Did you hear me? Pay attention to that. The Holy One of Israel. the set apart God of a nation called Israel, which distinguishes him from any other God. Y'all catching that? It distinguishes him from any other God. See, brothers and sisters, listen to me, man. If I was not a bloodline Israelite, see, my father's parents and grandparents, my father's mother was born as a sharecropper in Florida, picking fruit with nothing. Descendants of slaves. My father's mother was raped by a Caucasian man, and he came out looking Caucasian, but he never tried to pass as Caucasian. You can't help who your parents are. My mother come from thick stock of Jamaica, come from Ghana into Jamaica, from Hebrew Israelite into Ghana into Jamaica. So I know who I am. I know who I am. But if I'm telling you this, if my family came from Germany or Czechoslovakia, I would still acknowledge this is to be true. And I would still serve the God of the Israelites. That's what I'm trying to take to you Caucasian people. You know, you may not be the bloodline. You can still serve the God of the Israelites, though, because you know why? He's the only true God. You want truth or don't you? That's what it comes down to. Yeah, no, we ain't got no money. No, this is not going to be televised. No, the revolution is not going to be televised. But Yah, through his son Messiah, the true Messiah, the Hebrew Israelite one of the tribe of Judah, listen here, he going to overthrow this whole earth. We already read about it in Isaiah 24. We've seen it in other places. He going to overthrow this whole system. Yeah, Messiah said, he told Pilate, my kingdom is not of this world. That's what Messiah said. And Pilate said, then you have a kingdom? And then Messiah said, if my kingdom was of this world, my servants would fight. That's what he said. My servants would fight. What did he mean by that? And then he told his disciples, he said, no, let them have me. He laid his life down and he took it back himself. He said, I've been given that from my father. I can lay my life down and take it back. He said, let them have me. He said, don't you know, if I call him my father, he sent me 12 legions of angels. 12 legions. A legion is a Roman legion, had 12,000, had 1,000 soldiers in it. So he sent me 12,000 angels and delivered me from these people if I wanted him to. Why would he talk like that? See, that's wartime talk, brothers and sisters. That's wartime talk. He's not no soft, flowery white Jesus. We got a wartime general. He's right now interceding. He's also the high priest. He's the only one ever and ever will be that's prophet, priest, and king. He's the only one. Prophet, priest, and king. Messiah came to this earth, prophet. Messiah now is interceding for his chosen priest. Messiah gonna take this kingdom. King, prophet, priest, and king. There's nobody else. Nobody in Israel was allowed to do that. David was a king and a prophet. Samuel was a priest and a prophet. Never could they mingle. Uzziah tried, he was a king. Uzziah was a king, tried to come and light some incense that only the priest was supposed to light. And they were trying to stop him. And he fought through and did it anyway. And as soon as he did, that leprosy came right up on his head. And he ran out because he knew it was covering him right away. Wasn't supposed to mix. Only one. Matter of fact, this is how specific it is. The priest is supposed to wear a certain type of body oil. Read this. It's in Leviticus. He's supposed to wear a type of body oil that's made from a special set of ingredients. Nobody else could even make that. If somebody was to try to copy that oil and make it, they'll be put to death because it was set apart only for the priest to wear. See, that's how specific this is. Okay. Isaiah chapter 30 from verse 8 to 15. Watch what it says. Now go, write it before them in a table and note it in a book, that it may be for the time to come forever and ever. In other words, I want y'all to remember this. I need y'all, I need y'all to remember this going forward. That means you and me too. Notice what it says. That this is a rebellious people. He's talking about me. He's talking about you Israelites. He's talking about me. Me on my motorcycle. Right? That's what he's talking about. He said that he said, I want everybody to know from time to come that this is a rebellious people. Lying children. Why are we lying children? Children that will not hear the law of Yah. Man, we stiff-necked people. You know that. And that's one of the biggest miracles, I think, for me, is the awakening of us. The awakening of us to these truths is an amazing miracle. Brothers and sisters, when you look at it, we have been brainwashed thoroughly. They brought us here in chains, took our names from us. We don't even know what our names are. Green and Walker. That ain't our names. That's the names of slave masters that took us off them boats. We don't even know our names. Took our language from us, taught us English, took our Hebrew language from us. We don't even know it. We depending on Ashkenazis to show us what our language is. Ashkenaz, some of the Hebrew we looking up, that's the Ashkenazi version of it. There's Paleo Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, and there's this other one we got that I got in the Strong's Concordance, that's Ashkenazi, and even that is mixed up. That's why the Bible tells us in Zephaniah, he's going to return unto us a pure language. He's going to do it. We're going to come back to it. But we are thoroughly brainwashed. We thoroughly after this US dollar. We thoroughly caught up in this world's goods. And yet, he's awakening us. The remnant is awakening. We're remembering who we are. As the Bible says, it shall come to pass when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy most high have scattered you. That's what's going on. It's a blessing. That's a miracle. With all of this, even with this Bible being translated by Roman Catholics, we seeing the truth, man. It's amazing. That is a great miracle to me, one of the greatest ones. Okay, which say to the seers, verse 10, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not. Prophecy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things. Prophecy deceits. Isn't that what you're seeing in the Christian churches right now? Isn't that what you're seeing in your families right now? You're seeing it in your families. If you lovingly come to your family and say, I found out that my ancestors are the original Hebrews. I found out that we're the true people. They'll tell you, your family, my family. They'll tell you, you crazy. If you say, lovingly say, I cannot go to church with you on Sunday anymore. I don't want to worship white Jesus. I want to serve the true God. They'll look at you and they say, this person going off the deep end. He's crazy. He's not going to the church. We got to pray for him to bring him back to the church. Don't even realize how Catholic they sound. Don't even realize how Catholic they sound. So they want smooth things. And you know what? They're going to get what they want. They're getting it. You got all these fake preachers out here, smooth as silk, man, getting that money. You're going to get what you want. Building these giant colossal structures for you to be nice and proud. This is the house of the Lord. Didn't understand. That's what they did for Dagon. Built these giant structures for Dagon. Y'all worshiping a false God, a white Jesus, one that doesn't exist. How do I know it doesn't exist? Well, let me finish reading this and I'll show you what the scriptures say. First, let's read this. It says, get you out the way, they tell the true prophets. Turn aside, out the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. The Holy One of Israel. That's how you know it's the true God. It's got to be the Holy One of Israel. the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God that gave them the law. They must be the teachers. If you got white Jesus being taught, I'm sorry, you're missing the boat. And if Caucasian people trying to lead this movement, go and take Yahweh and go your way. This ain't the way for you. You got to follow this truth, man. He has ordained these things. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, he says it again, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be unto you a breach ready to fall, swelling in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant, and he shall break it as the breaking of a potter's vessel. We've seen this several times. That is broken to pieces. That's what Messiah said he's going to do. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. For thus saith the Most High Yah, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved, and in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. Look, this is probably one of my favorite verses right here. Isaiah 30:15. Why? Why is that? Got another one in there too. When we get to this chapter, we'll study it. But returning means repenting, coming back to your Father. Rest means trusting him. Returning back to your Father and trusting him. And not making a noise about it, but in quiet confidence, trusting him. Everybody talking about Ebola and everybody talking about Corona. And yes, it's dangerous. But we have quiet confidence knowing who our God is, understanding that there is no virus that he can't overcome. There is no virus he can't protect us from. He has angels that excel in strength, like the brother that saved my life yesterday. That was an angel. Came to my rescue. I was flying through the air. You guys don't know what it's like. I hit that car and I flew off the front of the bike. And I'm in the air. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be bad. This is not going to be good. And I'm watching because I was going about 30 miles an hour. So you see, when you hit an immovable object at 30 miles an hour, you're now going 30 miles an hour. That's the strict physics. You hit it and you're still going at that speed. So I'm watching the ground pass me and I know I'm in the air and I know I'm going to land. I don't know where, but it's not going to be good. And yet here I am. Here I am. Angel protected me. He delivered me. See? We got to know who we serve. What God is it? Is it the Holy One of Israel? Of Israel? Of the awakening people? Is that the one? Or is it white Jesus? Who you serving? So let me ask you something. All right, let me get back to these power talk. Hold on a second. Let me ask you something. Is the dragon a true God? Is he says he's a God, but is he truly a God? No. That would make him a false God, correct? That would make the dragon a false God, correct? Okay, because there's only one true God. It's Yah. And there's only one Messiah. It's Messiah Yahweh Shah. So that would make the dragon a false God. That would make all the people following him in all of these different churches worshiping a false God. Correct? Now listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters. Even though that is the case, if we want to win them to the truth, you don't want to attack their false God. Right? If you sincerely want your relatives to be saved, you understand you don't want to get into an argument with them. That's not going to win anything. See, that's enough. See, listen, brothers and sisters, the Jesuits come in different forms. And when you understand how they operate, you can pick off by the Spirit of the Father what they're doing. Let me give you an example. Jesuits want to debate. You know, we just read there in Isaiah. It says, in quiet confidence shall be your strength. That means you don't need to argue and debate with anybody. You don't need to argue and debate. Why? If the Spirit of the Father is true and that Spirit calls you to speak, you don't need to prove anything to anybody. The truth speaks for itself. You know what Messiah said? He told Pilate, he said, I came to bear witness of the truth. He came to bear witness of his Father, who is the truth, who is perfect righteousness. And he said, they that are of the truth will hear my voice. That's what he said. And brothers and sisters, that has not changed. That has not changed. Here, let's get another witness from the prophet we study in Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 44. Isaiah chapter 44. This is now happening right now. Isaiah chapter 44. Praise Yah. Notice what it said from verse 5 down to verse 8. Isaiah chapter 44, from verse 5 to 8. From verse 5 to 8. Isaiah 44, 5 to 8. Notice what it said. One shall say, I am Yahweh's, and another shall call himself by the name of Jacob, and another, or Yaakov, that's a Hebrew name, right? And another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Israel. That's why my Hebrew name is Gabar Sadak. God's Spirit gave me that name. Gabar Sadak. I didn't get it from man. I got it by revelation of Messiah. Gabar Sadak. That's my name. Now, the government has given me a name. Daniel was Belteshazzar, right? That was his government name. Daniel had a government name in Babylon. It was called Belteshazzar. Well, my government name is Todd. So all you guys know me as Todd. But my Hebrew name is Gabar Sadak. When I meet a brother and sister that I know is a Hebrew and they don't realize they're Hebrew, they say, what's your name? I say Gabar Sadak. But when I'm going to the DMV or I'm going to a government job or whatever, and they need to, my name is Todd. Because the government name they know me by. See? That's prophesied. They shall surname himself by the name of Israel. Verse 6. Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel. This is the God we serve. Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts. I am the first and I am the last. Beside me, what does it say now? There is no God. And who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order before me, since I appointed the ancient people and the things that are coming and shall come. Let them show unto them. Fear not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from time and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses, you Israelites. You are his witnesses, not Jehovah's witnesses. No J in Hebrew, no Christian Jehovah, no Watchtower. No. True witnesses, the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The true witnesses. The relatives to Messiah. We are bloodline relatives to Messiah. Isaiah chapter 44. I'm reading Isaiah 44. I'm sorry. I'm reading Isaiah 44. Let me start from the beginning because I got caught up in it. Isaiah 44 from verse 5 to 8. Let me read it from the beginning. Isaiah chapter 44 from verse 5 to 8. Watch this. One shall say, I like to say, when I see the word I am, I like to say a higher. I just do because I am is a higher, right? I know, but people might get mad at me, but I'm just saying. I just like to see it. Okay. One shall say Ahia, Yahweh, and another shall call himself by the name of Yaakov, and another shall subscribe with his hand unto Yahweh, and surname himself by the name of Yasha'ah. Thus saith Yahweh, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts, Ahia the first, and Ahia the last. Beside me there is no God. And who as I shall call and shall declare it and set it in order for me, since I appointed the ancient people and the things that are coming and shall come. Let them show them unto them. Fear ye not, neither be afraid. Have not I told thee from that time and have declared it? Ye are even my witnesses. Is there a God beside me? Yea, there is no God. I know not any. Father is telling you, there's false gods. Don't worship them. There's only one true God, the set apart one of Israel, the God of Jacob and Jacob's family. We are bloodline relatives of Jacob. Bloodline relatives. We cousins. We cousins with Messiah. I'm serious. We cousins. I mean, if we are the seed of Jacob and Messiah is the seed of Jacob, aren't all 12 tribes come from Jacob? Don't they all come from him? So aren't they cousins? We cousins. We cousins with Messiah. We his bloodline family, got it. Excuse me. Woo. Sorry. We is bloodline family. Yes, we are. Excuse me. Yes, we are. He ain't forgot that. He wants us to awaken to that and put away the false gods that are among us. And why do I bring all that up? Why was all that necessary before we get to Isaiah chapter 25? Why was all that necessary before we get to Isaiah 25? Because, brothers and sisters, uh, because the whole earth thinks they worship the same God, they're going to say to us that we worship a false God. Isn't that what Asatan does? He takes his lies and he tries to put them on other people and act like he's the truth. That's what he does. Okay, he'll bring confusion and then accuse you of bringing confusion. That's what they do. That's one of the tricks that they do. They bring confusion. We're talking about what the Jesuits do. They try to bring confusion and they try to create debate out of things that are not. Like, for example, is it really worth an argument for us to decide whether the earth is round or flat? Is it? I'm saying, is it really that important that we really, we really need to know whether the earth is round or flat? Well, why did this line of argument get introduced to our people? It's Jesuits to try to create confusion. It doesn't important whether the earth is round or flat. What's important is the earth belongs to Yah, and we belong to Yah, and we're obedient to his commandments. That's what's important. See, when you start hearing stuff that makes no sense, it's like, why are we? Don't be careful when they start bringing things up that has nothing to do with the important subject matter we're dealing with. Brothers and sisters, what on earth, seriously, what on earth can be more important than overcoming all your sin? That's what I'm saying. What could be more important than being sealed in perfect righteousness? What is more important than that? What? The earth round or flat? Come on now. What's more important than being able to look your father in the face with your name in his forehead? Don't get caught up in arguments and debates. That's a Jesuit trick. It's a Jesuit trick. They're trying to infiltrate us. See, some of these guys that you see with these uniforms on, they're agents. They're agents. And I don't have to go and get inside information to tell you that. They're agents. Why? Because Asatan has been infiltrated. Again, he's been using his people to infiltrate all religions of the earth. The problem with ours that they're going to have is we're not an official religion. Why do you think they're trying to create camps? And do you know a lot of these camps, these Israelite camps, are 501c3 corporations? That should tell you something. Now, let me be clear and plain to you. I'm trying to be honest, as I always try to be. There are some sincere brothers and sisters in those camps that don't know any better. I'm just saying, they got caught up in that. They don't know any better. The sincere ones that are truth will end up coming out of it. But the ones that create these camps are trying to denominationalize us. That's all they're doing. They're taking Christianity denominationalism and they're trying to make it into the Israelite thing. Even you start to see some movements within the Israelites. All they really are is Hebrew movements that are really Christians. So they have the same situation. They have a pastor. They got a first lady. They get buildings. They have special days. Listen, that's Christianity. Messiah never taught us to do any of that. That's this. We got to. What's important? What should command our attention? Right? What should command our attention? Our attention needs to be on what will please our Father. How can we give him glory? He has taught us how to give him glory. He said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." He said, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." It's not complicated. It's very plain and simple. And so, at the end of the day, we want obedience to our Father. And yet, we understand because of our sinful nature, we can't render obedience without his Spirit. Therefore, the obtaining of Father's Spirit becomes the most important thing. obtaining his spirit of righteousness. He will teach us the truth of his word. He's going to teach us the truth of his word. But we have to first receive his spirit. We have to receive the conviction that he's sending us and give Father glory. Messiah came into us to cause us to give Father glory, to bring salvation to Israel. That's what he said, to bring salvation to Israel. So, brothers and sisters, our object should not be to discover whether the world is round or flat, or to argue whether angels had sex with women in Genesis. Come on. Brothers and sisters, you see how these things are designed to create confusion and bring you off the track? And then people arguing about the Apocrypha, arguing about it. Come on now. Come on. You read Genesis to Revelation yet? How many times you read it? You studied that before you start arguing about some Apocrypha or some book of, what is the book they looking at? Book of Enoch or whatever you trying to argue about? Have you read the Bible yet? Brothers and sisters. And I'm not trying to fight with the brothers. I'm trying to bring the straight truth. Forget the camps. Forget your dues that you pay to the camps for your uniforms. Forget your 501c3 corporations. All that is wrong. The Most High don't need no 501c3. He don't need your uniforms. What the Most High needs is our obedience to his law, to his covenant. What he needs is us to receive his spirit and be filled with his spirit so that our faces become glowing. See, brothers and sisters, he intends for our faces to glow the way Moses glowed when he came off that mountain with the covenant in his hand. He intends for us to reflect him the way Messiah does. That's why he says Messiah must be the firstborn among many brethren. That's deep, brothers and sisters. Not just bloodline, because we bloodline. Not just that, but we must reflect him as he reflects Father. This takes all we got. This is not something you can casually do. You have to have a connection, a mindset that this is what you want. You can't have that and have $1 million too. You can't. I'm sorry. You cannot go out and try to get yours in this world and get these dollar bills that they printing out by the trillions now. You can't think you're going to get that and get him too. You're not going to make it through the eye of the needle with that stuff. Isaiah, that's why when we look at Isaiah 25, see, it's going to get to the point. See, right now, as I told you, this is a dress rehearsal. This virus is a dress rehearsal. A lot of people are going to die. They're going to get it under control. It's going to fundamentally change the way business is done on this planet. It's a plan. It's all planned. They're going to fundamentally change everything. Just like 9/11, you know what? Before 9/11, you could go all the way to the place where your family member was boarding the plane and you can kiss them goodbye, hug them, or shake their hand, whatever, before 9/11. You can't do that anymore. There's a checkpoint. You can't go past the checkpoint. 9/11 changed all that. Before 9/11, you could bring a bottle of water on the plane with you. Drink it. They'll throw it out now to tell you it's some sort of explosive liquid or something. See? It changed everything. It was planned. That was planned. It was no accident. This situation, 2008, was planned. Permanently created an underclass. Permanently caused wealth to go to the top 1%. That 2008 did that. Create a whole bunch of renters where people were owning homes, especially black people. You were owning houses, created renters. We still haven't recovered from it. It was planned. This coronavirus is planned. And let them do their plans. Because brothers and sisters, with each step they make toward what they're trying to accomplish, Yah's got 2 more steps that he's making with us. The awakening becomes that much stronger. His spirit becomes that much stronger. Brothers and sisters, listen to me now. You're going to cast out devils, Messiah said. You're going to walk on water, Messiah said. Greater miracles than these shall you do because I go to my Father. He about to reveal his people, but he's got to have us prepared. He's not going to prepare us on television. We're not going to be doing daily briefings to tell people we should get credit for something. We're not trying to be stars in this earth. He calls us stars because we're followers of righteousness. Yah calls us stars. The world going to call us evil. They're going to say we are cult. They're going to say we worship what God would call Yah. Who is that? They're going to talk like that about us. They're already doing it. Your family is doing it to you now. Anybody that you've discussed this with that's a Christian or something, they're already doing it. They come with no biblical answer. You give biblical evidence, they can't match it with anything, but they're ready to argue with you about you being a cult. Isn't that what we just read? Prophesy smooth things, prophesy deceits, cause the Holy One of Israel to depart from us. That's what they're doing. That is why when we get delivered, and we're going to get delivered, Messiah is going to come for the purpose of overthrowing the order of this system that we're in and delivering us to the kingdom of the Father. And Isaiah 25 comes into play. Let's read Isaiah 25. Isaiah chapter 25. Isaiah 25 from verse 1. I'm going to start from verse 1 to 7. Isaiah 25 from 1 to 7. Isaiah 25, 1 to 7. O Yah, thou art my most high. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth, aren't they? For thou hast made of a city an heap, of a defense city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It shall never be built. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee. That's us. The city of the terrible nation shall fear thee. For thou hast been a strength to the poor. There you go. A strength to the needy in distress. A refuge from storm. A shadow from the heat and from the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against a wall. Thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible one shall be brought low, and in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well defined. He will destroy this mountain, in this mountain, the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Oh yes, he's going to reveal everything. Going to overthrow everything. It's about to come, brothers and sisters. We're being prepared for that. That's what we're doing right now. Our role right here is to be prepared for our next move. In order to be prepared, we must be filled with the Father's Spirit and His Word. We must have a heart that's sincere in glorifying the Father. That nothing else in this life matters but giving glory to the Father. And we must be committed, we must be earnestly committed to that. Earnestly committed. There's nothing more important than the Father's word. It's His word. It's Him. See? Our Satan hates the Father's word. That's why the Christians, even the ones talking about study your Bible, they don't read no Bible. They at best read the New Testament. At best. And that's all some of them. They don't read these things we're talking about. They don't study this stuff out for the Father's will. We want to eat this word up like bread. Eat it up. Make it part of us. Psalm 119, I think it's 119, 138. We're going to read the rest of this right now. Well, Psalm 119, 138. What did it say? I'm correct on this. Yeah, 119. Is it 138? No, 133. 119, 133. I'm sorry. Psalm 119, 133. Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me. That's deep to me, because what he's declaring is he wants his life, everything he does, to be one with the Father. That's Messiah. Messiah said he knew nothing of himself. Whatever he did, the Father taught him. Whatever he said, the Father had him speak. He didn't have his own words. He spoke on the Father's behalf. His steps were ordered in the Father's word. And of course, Messiah was without sin. No dominion, no sin had dominion over him. He wants the same for us. That's what David's prayer right there. Order my steps in your word. Let not any iniquity have dominion over me. Praise Yah. Back to Isaiah 25. This next part that we're going to read is quoted. The apostle Paul quotes this in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. He quotes this, talking about the resurrection. So Isaiah 25. I'm going to start at verse 7. And let's read from verse 7 to 9. Isaiah chapter 25, verse 7 to 9. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death in victory. And the Most High Yahweh will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off the earth, from off all the earth. For Yahweh has spoken it, and it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our God. See, this ain't white Jesus. This is our God. Because you know why? Everybody's going to see him. When Messiah returns, everybody's going to see him. Lo, this is our God. We are waiting for him, and he will save us. This is Yahweh. We have waited for him, and we will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. See, they're going to see, they say, oh, who is this Yah you're serving? What is this culture in? And they're going to eventually want to kill us. I'm just telling you how the Bible's showing us. They're going to be annoyed at us. They're annoyed at us now. They're going to get more annoyed at us. Then they're going to get agitated when we start really the power of the Father Spirit start bringing the word in a more powerful way. That's Revelation 18, that angel that came down from heaven having great power. That's the message of the Father Spirit coming through us in these last days. He's preparing us for that. You got to be prepared first. Remember, Messiah told the disciples, tarry at Jerusalem until you be endowed with power from on high. He said, when you get the power, then you're going to be witnesses unto me. So you can't be a witness unto him until you get the power. So he's going to give us serious power of his spirit, supercharged power of the Holy Ghost. And that way, when we speak a word, it's not going to be because we're yelling. There's going to be power behind the words, though. It's going to hit somebody in their heart like a hammer. And they're going to know it's from the Most High. You know why? I praise Yah. Remember when they went, I love this story in the book of John when the Sanhedrin sent officers to arrest Messiah. Go arrest him, they said, right? Officers came back without him. The priests were mad. Why have you not brought him? All they could say was this phrase: never a man spake like this man. That's all they could say. That's all they could say. Yah is preparing you and I. He's preparing us to come like that. They're going to come out. They're going to want to kill us. They're going to hate us. It's all good, though. We're not going to be scared. Our only fear will be, are we giving honor to the Father? Are we giving honor to the Father? That's our only fear, because that was Messiah's only concern, is his Father being glorified. That's all he was concerned about, and that's all we'll be concerned about. So people will come out, they'll hate us, but there's some people out there that might hate us. Their faces be turned up at us. They'll be talking nasty about us and about up behind our back. Y'all know, that's how it goes. But it's all good. And then the Father will speak through us with his spirit. And they'll be just like them. Never a man spake like this man. Because his word is like a hammer. When his spirit comes, it's like a dart to the heart. He's preparing us to do that. Right now, he's preparing us. And so there'll be some that's going to leave their fathers and mothers and daddies' fake churches and their fake religions that they don't realize now is fake and is false gods. They're going to leave the false gods. And they're going to come to this truth. They're going to join, not a church, not a denomination. They're going to join with the scattered people of the nation of Israel. They're going to come to the Holy One of Israel to serve him in truth. Yeah, they're going to do that. And they're going to do it because of the Father's Spirit on us, with his word speaking through us. See? Let's continue. Excuse me, whenever I think of that, whew, hits me, man. All right. Isaiah 25. Where was that? From verse 9, down to verse 12. Let's finish the chapter. Isaiah 25, from verse 9 to verse 12. And it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Yahweh. We are waiting for him, and he will be glad, and we will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. And for in this mountain shall the hand of Yahweh rest, and Moab shall be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down for the dunghill. And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spreadeth forth his hands to swim. And he shall bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands. And the fortress of the high fort of thy walls shall he bring down, lay low, and bring to the ground, even to the dust. Yes, yes. The power of this earth is going to be laid waste. The power of this earth is going to be laid waste, right? It's going to be laid waste. And Yah is going to exalt his power on this planet. And that's why when Messiah does return, the Bible says in righteousness, he does judge and make war. Because that's what's coming. It's not going to be the World War III. They are planning World War III, but that's not Armageddon. Man try to create a war and call it Armageddon. Come on now. They don't know what Armageddon is like. It's when Armageddon really comes, when that comes, Armageddon, that's utter destruction to all the heathen that try to attack Yah and his people. They're going to have World War III, and they're going to bring a lot of death. Brothers and sisters, I'm just telling you, they're planning that. That means the powers of what the Bible say, spiritual wickedness in high places is planning World War III. It's going to come, and it'll probably be taking place out there in Iran somewhere. And they're going to want all you brothers to join up. Don't join up. Don't join up with them in this war. It's coming. They're going to make you all hyped and make you think you're protecting your nation. Listen, man. In all the years that our people have joined in their wars, what has it gotten for us? Have they appreciated us? Have they made us equal? We got our rights? Brothers came home from war now. In fact, it don't even matter if it's a Caucasian, a Hispanic, or a black man. When you coming back from war now, you just as liable to be in the street as you are in anything else. You just find, I don't know how many thousands, but tens of thousands of former brethren, former soldiers are homeless. Why? Because what they do, they offer you all this money and they offer you all this to join up. And they don't give a crap about you when they finish with you. You're just a widget that they just used. Listen now. Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X were right. Muhammad Ali said, I ain't got no fight with them Viet Congs. That's what Muhammad Ali said. They tried to draft him in that Vietnam War. He said, I ain't got no fight with them Viet Congs. He said, my oppressor's right here. And you know what? As Israelites, we don't got no fight with nobody. Yah is our commander. Yeah, we're American citizens, but we can choose not to join them in their corruption. We don't have to do it. Because you can see it. I'm not making that up. I think everybody that's paying attention, you see in your little communities, people that used to fight in Vietnam, or people that fought in Iraq, War I and II, and now they still out here in Afghanistan, out there fighting and battling for what? For oil? For some Caucasian man's oil? Seriously? Come on now, wake up. I ain't telling you nothing that ain't true. You know it. And then the veterans come back here. What they get? What they get? Dogged. That's what they get. Dogged. All right. So let's stop here. I'm gonna stop here. All right, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna have a word of prayer, and then we're gonna take a break. It's now in my time here where I'm at. It's 12:41. Isha, we're gonna come back at 1 o'clock. We're gonna come back at 1 o'clock. Okay, come back at one. Yeah. So let's have a word of prayer, and then we'll stop. I'm gonna end this stream right here, and I'm gonna come out with part two at 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Let's have a word of prayer. Most High Yahweh, again, we give you the praise, the honor, and the glory for all you have done for us that we don't even deserve. Please continue to guide us by your spirit. Cause us to be filled with your spirit for the purpose of giving you, Father, honor and glory and praise. Through Messiah Yahweh shall we pray. Amen. Most High bless you. If you come back for part two, we'll continue. If not, have a good Sabbath.